Hello, once again, Niner faithful. Johnny Dell here with the season debut episode of 49ers Playbook on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game. We're launching a new show this season, the Johnny Dell Show, that will be releasing new episodes at the end of each week, sometimes bringing on guests to talk about the latest news, headlines, and stories surrounding the 49ers. Tune in this week as we'll be bringing on John Chapman from the 49ers Rush podcast. Opening week saw the 49ers lose in torrential rain to a team many felt were not going to be able to match the 49ers. However, the NFL is a place where no win is guaranteed and nothing can be taken for granted. The game started out well with the defense in control and the offense moving the ball, but time and again the 49ers were unable to capitalize on good field position early. On defense, the 49ers started out strong, stuffing the run and getting to Fields while controlling the line of scrimmage. But as the game went on, bad penalties extended drives which led to busts in coverage and gap responsibilities for explosive plays. I know the big story out of the game is all about Trey Lance, which is to be expected when a player at the most important position in sports is drafted third overall. Lance played well for stretches and had some rookie moments. In all, it's hard to gauge anything for certain considering the conditions, but we'll look at some things he did well and other things that are opportunities for growth. Overall, it's week one, no need to hit the panic button as it's a long season and most likely this game will be a blip on the radar for both the team and Lance going forward. All that being said, let's jump to the film and see how the 49ers were unable to come out of Soldier Field with a win. You're watching Johnny Dell's Football Academy. The game started out well. After stopping Chicago on their opening drive, we moved the ball well. This play is something you're going to see a lot of this year. It was one of our bread and butter plays the last 3 years and will continue to be going forward. It's a Yankee concept where you have a post route to clear out, followed by a deep over route off of play action. This is where the myriad of running plays the 49ers have mess with defenses. The Bears are in cover one man, and they would do this a lot. When Debo went in motion across, they didn't have their nickelback follow him. They rotated a safety down to pick him up in man coverage. It'll be interesting to see how Kyle uses that matchup going forward if teams continue to try and cover Debo in man on these motions. But we'll first fake a sweep to Debo and then fake a handoff to Mitchell. They actually do a good job of jamming Jennings at the line, so he never gets to clear out like he's supposed to. But the run action caused the middle safety to bite hard, and he actually runs interference on his own guy, which springs Ayuk open for a big gain. But you see the influence the run game was having on the interior of the Bears defense. This is something I talked about in the offseason, how the 49ers offense will put incredible strain on the interior defenders of the defense, as long as we can execute. The drive, though, would end in a fumble by Deebo Samuel. This play was frustrating for a number of reasons and was emblematic of the team play throughout the game. It's a great design and again underscores what I've been saying all offseason, that Lance will be able to add a lot to the run game. So we're in 11 personnel with one back and one tight end. The defense is in their nickel formation, as that's usually a passing personnel package, and we had just thrown the ball out of this personnel group for a big gain. So the Bears are now in a two-safety defense with a lighter box. We're going to run Debo on a sweep, but pair it with a quarterback power look. This is using Lance's ability to run to open up other run opportunities. From the end zone, we'll take a look at how nice of a design this is. A short teaching moment here. Linebackers are taught to read the lineman. They'll take you to the play. If you see them fire out, it's a run. If they stand up, it's a pass. If they pull, go to where they're going as they'll take you to the play. By being able to spread the defense out and then present a quarterback power play with two pulling linemen, you're going to make it really hard for these linebackers to get a good read on the play. On top of that, we're going to add a read option look to it so we can pull these two linemen and then not have to block the defensive end. At the snap, you'll see how the pulling action moves both linebackers, and Dwelley has a great blocking angle on Roquan Smith to seal him off, and we'll have Debo one-on-one with the safety in open space, as the D-end is focused on Lance. But Dwelley gets too aggressive. There's no need to go get him like that. Stay outside. He's not going to slip under your block and be able to get Debo. You just have to not let him get outside. but he does. This forces Debo to make a move to the outside and allows the safety to get a hard angle on him and force the fumble, which is still on Debo to take care of the ball. But you can see how nice the play design is and how Kyle was making it an easier block, and we still blew what could have been a huge play in the game to get us going early. On defense, one guy who didn't get much attention this week but deserves a ton of credit for how well he played on the interior is Arik Armstead. Hufanga got a lot of attention, and rightfully so. He was all over the place. But some of that was made possible by the selfless play of Armstead inside. Here, the Bears are trying to run an inside zone play, and the key for them will be to double on Armstead and get him moving and then up onto the second level. But you can see Armstead eats up the double team without giving an inch, clogging up the running lane for no gain. I saw this multiple times in the game where he ate up double teams, allowing other guys to run free and make plays. It wasn't just Armstead either. Here, Ridgeway is able to eat up the double team that's trying to get to the second level, and it keeps Hufanga and Greenlaw free to stop the ball carrier for a short gain. Then we're able to pick off Fields, who's not able to correctly decipher our defense. The Bears come out in a 3x2 set, and we're going to keep Hufanga down around the line of scrimmage like cover 3 sky or a possible zone blitz. Late, we'll drop him back, and we're going to be in cover 3 Mabel, which is a combo coverage of cover 3 on the 3 receiver side and man on the backside with Greenlaw shadowing the running back. The Bears are going to run a little curl flat concept at the top with a hook over the middle. As Fields drops back, he sees Greenlaw drop and thinks he's the hook curl defender, not identifying the Mabel coverage that he's shadowing the running back, and so he never sees Hufanga, who is actually the hook curl, and is able to drive on the throw and pick off Fields. We're then able to get the offense going again with a chunk run, and again we're going to see the influence that Lance has on the run game. We're going to run a split zone and add a zone read look. You'll see how the zone read action freezes the defensive end for just a second to give the tight end a good angle on his kickout block. This puts Brisker in conflict. He sees the block coming and then moves outside just a step to account for Lance if he keeps it. With McGlinchey and Burford pushing the line down, this creates a big cutback lane for Mitchell, who's able to pick up a big chunk gain on the play. But again, you're seeing why Kyle drafted Lance. It wasn't just for his ability to throw the ball. It was his ability to influence the defense in the run game because Kyle wants to run the ball. But one problem that kept coming up was poor execution in the run game, and it wasn't just one guy over and over. It was from multiple areas. Here, we're going to try and hit a counter run. The key is for the offensive line to sell it like it's going to be the outside zone. Get the line moving that direction, and then use their momentum against them to cut it back. Burford just doesn't lock up his guy. Not sure if he was worried about overselling it, but he takes one step to sell, then plants to wall off his guy, but this allows the defensive tackle to penetrate the line. Juice, who is supposed to be coming around as a lead blocker, gets swallowed up by the defensive tackle. You see how well the rest of the play worked, and the entire defense was trapped inside, but the penetration blew the play up. This kind of stuff happened over and over and over in the game. On the ensuing play, we have an opportunity to pick up a first down, but again, sloppy execution prevents a good play from happening. Here, we're going to run a little trail concept where we'll run the outside receiver vertical and then hit a little rub under route in the vacated space. You see we have Jennings open for a first down, and Lance tries to hit him but isn't able to because of the pressure. At the snap, Banks jabs at his man to push him inside as if he's expecting center help, but quickly realizes there is no help and he's been beat inside. This is where Lance will continue to grow. He hops to get himself out of the way, which takes him out of a throwing position, into the oncoming rush, and he's unable to make the throw. This takes time for guys to develop, so don't act like he's done for. Banks didn't completely lose. Lance has to remain calm, sidestep the rush just a little, and make the throw. He's trying to get too busy back there, and making a throw late can lead to some bad outcomes. But this play isn't just on Lance. Banks needs to understand the pass blocking scheme to not lose so quickly. The play is there, we need to execute. But the next drive, we'll see what was maybe Lance's best throw of the day. Like I said earlier, you're going to see a lot of this, and we've seen a lot of it through the years. It's the Yankee off a play action. This looks a little different because it's a middle of the field open play, so the post is a skinny post, but it accomplishes the same thing of clearing out deep. The run fake, drawing up the underneath, and opening up the deep over route. It's a good throw to get over the underneath guys and with enough zip to beat the cloud. And these are plays that should be a little less tight window going forward as Lance gets more and more comfortable with what he's seeing and isn't playing in horrible conditions. So now we'll take a look at the touchdown. Again, this is how Lance is adding to the run game. It's like the play I showed earlier on the Debo fumble. We're going to motion the tight end across, change the strength of the formation, and run to the weak side. We're going to leave the defensive end unblocked to allow McGlinchey to get up on the linebacker. It's about 11 on 11 football now as the defensive end will be forced to play the QB option. You can see how the QB option action causes the defensive end to hesitate, and he takes himself out of the play. This is using the quarterback to occupy a defender in the run game. Now you've accounted for everyone but the safety, which is all Debo has to beat to get in for the score, and that's a matchup I'll take every time. Back on offense, we're going to see another missed opportunity. Again, please do not take this as I'm being down on Lance. I'm not. It was a tough game in the rain, opening week. I'm going to show a couple plays in succession because it's going to show you what you're probably going to see this season as he figures out how to do this going forward. There's going to be some seesaw action. Here it's third down and we're going to have a little sucker concept drawn up. The Bears are going to be in Tampa 2 coverage where the Mike is responsible for matching the deepest route down the middle of the field. The weakness of the Tampa 2 is short over the middle. The sucker looks to put the hook defender in a vertical stretch. We'll also pair this with a clearing route down the seam. At the snap, you see how the clearing route draws the Mike down the field. This is where Lance will learn anticipation versus zone. He sees the hook in a somewhat soft coverage and immediately drops it down short of the first down. If he had waited just a half a second or looked the hook off to the underneath route, Debo would have been wide open for a first down. Now fast forward to later in the game. We're trying to come back and we're going to run something similar. The Bears are going to be in cover 2. We're going to run 3 underneath routes to drop the underneath defenders and then run 2 dig routes behind. This time, having seen the missed opportunity before, Lance tries to hit the dig, but the defense was playing really soft and it's almost a pick. I don't really have a problem with this. This is what it looks like for a young guy to learn, and everything we've read says he will. But you see, he's learning. He's not staying static. He's seeing the missed opportunity earlier and trying to correct that mistake, but it's going to be a little bit for him to put it all together and the reps to understand the data he's seeing from drive to drive, play to play. But let me make this 1000% clear. This loss was not on Lance. The team had many missed opportunities. Here's one down near the goal line. We're just going to run a halfback dive here and Jennings just misses his block. Kyle talked about this in his presser yesterday that this is one Jennings would want back. But Jennings has to come down and block Brisker, but totally whiffs on his block and it blows up what should have been 6 points, and that completely changes the landscape of the game. You just can't miss those opportunities. In the next play, the Bears are going to be in cover 1 lurk. Now the Bears do a really good job of disguising this, so this is something that again is about a young quarterback seeing things he's never seen before. By starting out with a linebacker over Ayuk, it looks like zone coverage, and we motion Jennings across and the corner widens. This looks like zone coverage, but they will actually be in man. We're going to run a stick concept here with a quick out, and then the tight end will have a route that will sit down versus zone and be a quick out versus man. With inside help, this is where we want to go with the ball. Dwelly wins to the outside, but Lance moves on to the now route, which is covered by the inside help. Again, learning experiences for the quarterback. But back on defense, you can't keep giving the offense chances. Penalties extending drives killed us in this game. This is after 2 penalties extend this drive. The defense does a good job initially of covering the play and getting pressure on Fields, but he's able to escape and both Greenlaw and Hafunga go after Fields. This is a case where 2 guys are trying to do someone else's job. If you're Greenlaw, there's 3 other guys closer to the quarterback whose job it will be to tackle him if he takes off. What you don't do is abandon a whole giant chunk of the field. But we do, and Dante Pettis scores a touchdown. Then back on offense, more missed opportunities. Here we're going to run a sweep with Debo out of the backfield. Everything goes well except Ayuk is not able to execute his crackdown block on Brisker. You see how much space there was if we get this block. Again, it's an opportunity for an explosive play that we just couldn't execute. But when Lance was given time and things he's done before, he did pretty well. Here it's 3rd down and we're going to run this play we've run a lot over the years with a deep out and an under route. The Bears come with a zone blitz and he does a nice job of throwing into the blitz where there's a vacated space by the blitzing defender for a 1st down. But again, the theme throughout the game, more missed opportunities. Here we're running an inside zone and Brendel never executes his reach block well, and Banks misses his block on the 2nd level to end what could have been another good game. You're seeing the trend though, aren't you? It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't just Lance. It wasn't just the offensive line. It wasn't just the running backs. It wasn't just the defense. The entire team was lacking in execution throughout the game. Back on defense, more sloppy play. Here, we're just going to blow the coverage. The Bears are running a play straight out of Kyle's playbook. We've run this a lot. Jimmy G hit Jennings on this same play down the sideline in Week 18 versus the Rams. But they're going to run a play with a dig on the outside, followed with a wheel route, and tied it in with play action. 2 guys bust here. First, Womack doesn't read the play well and bites on the run fake and is late out into his flat responsibility. Second, Ward bites on the dig, vacating his deep third, and it leaves Pringle wide open. But the drive was still extended by an unnecessary roughness call and we're going to bust a coverage again. This is as West Coast as it gets. This is Spider 2Y Banana. I will give props Fields here. Normally the route he throws for a touchdown isn't even supposed to be considered in the play. It's usually an alert. The primary is the fullback in the flat. But the run action and the fullback in the flat draws so much attention we completely bust our deep third coverage and our backside coverage. This puts Hafunga in a terrible position as he sees the crossing route leaking out uncovered and the banana route uncovered, and the Bears get a touchdown on an old West Coast offense play. Then more sloppiness on offense. Here we're trying to run a play action pass and Banks gets confused on which way to go, and he ends up faking into Williams, trips over Williams' foot and loses his guy, and Trey has to take off running. It's just inexcusable stuff, especially when you look at the All-22 and see that had the play been given time to develop, we had Ray wide open. Now we'll talk about the pick. Lance said he saw the coverage and thought he held the guy long enough with his eyes. We're running this rub action versus man coverage, and it's cover 1 robber. Remember how he missed this route to Jennings earlier? Lance tries to hit it. This time the Bears are in cover 1 robber and he gets picked off. Look, these types of plays are to be expected of young quarterbacks. Peyton Manning threw 28 interceptions in his rookie year. But the sloppiness continues. Here the Bears are running an inside zone read. Greenlaw gets caught up in the quarterback action and completely abandons his run gap, along with Fred Warner not seeing it too, and they give up the middle of the field for a big chunk gain. Then after this, Ebukam allows himself to get washed down and the Bears score their 3rd touchdown of the game. After this, the film of the passing game wasn't worth a look in my opinion, as the conditions on the field were just so bad. Overall, it was a really tough loss to swallow, scoring only 10 points on a Bears team that isn't expected to do much this season. But the end is not nigh. It's not the book on Lance. It's not the predictor of the season. We're seeing a lot of people hitting the panic button on both the team and some players. But it's game 1 of a 17-game season. There's a ton of football left to be played and a lot of growth for the team to experience this year. One thing we've seen from Kyle Shanahan over the past 3 years is that sometimes it takes a little time, but when the offense starts to click, it really clicks. I think it'll take he and his young signal caller a little while to find their groove, but once they do, I expect this team to be a top offensive team once again. Well, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to turn the notifications bell on to be alerted to when a video goes live. As always, tune in each week as we'll cover the whys and hows of each game and what happened that you don't always get from watching it live. If you'd like to support the channel in any way, I'll have links for that below. But as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Niners.